Claire Newman, Victoria and Cole's sweet daughter, Victor and Nikki's beloved granddaughter, former nanny, proper love interest, probably has a whole closet full of soft sweaters. But before Claire Newman became the girl next door, Claire Grace was a psycho. She drugged Nikki Newman, stabbed her in the neck with a syringe, helped her Aunt Jordan force Nikki into a relapse, lured Victor, Victoria, Nick, and Cole to a lake house, and helped serve them poisoned water. Claire came to Genoa City to destroy the Newman family, and somehow she ended up becoming one of them. So, how did she go from helping Aunt Jordan nearly kill the Newmans to riding horses on the ranch? This is the wild story of Claire Grace and one of the biggest personality makeovers that Y&R has pulled off in years. Claire Grace arrived in Genoa City in the fall of 2023, played by Haley Aaron, who longtime Y&R fans might remember as a teenage Abby Newman. But this time, Haley Aaron came back as a completely new character, Claire Grace. She applied for a job as Nikki Newman's assistant at Newman Media, and Claire seemed perfect, smart, organized, polite. She knew exactly when Nikki needed a cup of tea and probably color-coded her paper clips too. Nikki liked her almost immediately, but the second Nikki turned her back, Claire got weird. Claire had Newman family newspaper clippings, pictures of them all, dossiers on them all. And she was secretly reporting back to a mysterious woman named Jordan. Everything was going exactly as planned. Claire had not simply found herself a nice new job. She had deliberately placed herself inside of Nikki Newman's life. And Nikki was about to learn that her perfect new assistant had been trained to destroy her. Claire told Nikki that her Aunt Jordan had fallen and hurt herself at her lake house home in Oregon. Well, Nikki was already traveling to go visit her sister, Casey, so she offered Claire a ride on the Newman jet. It's the little things. Claire's Aunt Jordan was supposedly a huge Nikki Newman fan. So, Claire convinced Nikki to make a celebrity appearance. Nikki walked right into that lake house, sat down, drank some tea, and collapsed. When Nikki woke up, she was locked in a bedroom, confused and obviously drugged, and trying to figure out why this sweet young assistant of hers would possibly want to do this to her. Nikki managed to get out of that room, so Claire came after her with a syringe. Claire grabbed Nikki, stabbed the needle right into her neck, and Nikki went down again. Okay, so the next time Claire is sitting politely at the Newman Ranch talking about riding her horse, just remember, this woman once chased her own grandmother through a lake house with a loaded syringe. Claire helped drag Nikki back into the bedroom, and Jordan took over from there because kidnapping Nikki was only step one. Jordan wanted to attack the one part of Nikki's life that she had spent decades trying to keep under control: her alcoholism. Aunt Jordan was Claire's great aunt. She was the sister of Cole's mother, Eve Howard, and Jordan blamed Victor and the entire Newman family for every terrible thing that ever happened to Eve. And that's a whole separate retro recap. Jordan had been feeding that hatred to Claire for years. She taught Claire that the Newmans were monsters. So when Jordan told Claire that Nikki deserved to suffer, Claire believed her. Jordan connected Nikki to an IV and forced alcohol into her system. Nikki begged, she fought, she tried to resist, but Jordan wanted Nikki drinking again. She wanted her weak and ashamed and completely dependent on this alcohol that Jordan was pumping into her body. That part of the plan was all Jordan. Jordan created the alcohol torture. Jordan used Nikki's addiction as a weapon. But Claire was still there, holding Nikki hostage, helping Jordan continue the plan, and waiting for the rest of the Newman family to arrive. Because Jordan did not kidnap Nikki just to hurt Nikki. Nikki was the bait. And Claire was sent back to Genoa City to collect everyone else. Claire returned to Genoa City with this terrifying made-up story. Nikki had supposedly suffered a medical emergency, and Victor, Victoria, and Nick all needed to come to Oregon immediately. And once again, the Newmans trusted Claire. And once again, Claire led them into Jordan's trap. Cole arrived at the lake house too, so Jordan had finally assembled almost everyone into one place. Victor, Nikki, Victoria, Nick, and Cole. One deeply dysfunctional family reunion with poisoned water. Claire helped hand out some water bottles. Everyone drank from them, and one by one, everyone in the family started collapsing. Jordan was thrilled. This was her big moment. Her revenge against the Newman family, and Claire totally stood there watching the plan come together. But Claire had one big surprise of her own. She looked at Victoria and Cole and revealed to them and everyone else that Victoria and Cole were her parents. Claire Grace was really Eve Nicole Howard. The baby Victoria and Cole had been told was dead years ago. Now suddenly, Claire was no longer helping Jordan poison the Newmans. She was poisoning her own family. Let's back up. Victoria and Cole's daughter, Eve Nicole Howard, was born prematurely in 1998. Victoria and Cole were told that their baby had died, and they mourned her. And then they moved on with their lives, but they never forgot. Jordan claimed that Eve Nicole never died. That she, Jordan, had stolen the baby from the hospital, switched her with another infant who had died, and raised Victoria and Cole's daughter as Claire Grace. Jordan spent Claire's entire childhood teaching her that Victoria and Cole had rejected her, thrown her away. So Claire truly believed that she was getting revenge on the parents who never wanted her in the first place. But Victoria and Cole were horrified when they learned all of this. They loved their baby. They believed she was dead. They never abandoned her. Jordan had stolen Claire's childhood. And once Claire realized that, everything started to look a little different. Claire started to question Jordan, and Jordan did not like it. Jordan wanted complete loyalty and complete control. She had raised Claire to follow orders and ask no questions, and above all, hate the Newmans. But when Claire looked at Victoria and Cole, she could see the truth, and she believed them. Claire turned against Jordan, and she gave the family the antidote to the poison that they had all ingested. So yes, Claire helped to try to kill her entire family. But she also helped keep them alive. Claire was arrested, and Victoria and Cole visited her, and they got a DNA test done, and that DNA test confirmed the truth that Claire Grace was really their daughter, their baby, Eve. Claire was sent for psychiatric treatment instead of being thrown into prison because, she had committed some serious crimes, but she had also been stolen as an infant, raised under a false identity, and brainwashed by Jordan her entire life. So even Claire eventually confronted Jordan and rejected her completely. And the next time Jordan came after Nikki again, Claire chose Nikki. And from that moment on, Claire Grace started to disappear. Once Claire left treatment, Y&R gave her one of the fastest sweet girl makeovers that we have ever seen. Claire began bonding with Victoria and Cole. She worked with children. She became Harrison Abbott's nanny. And she was wonderful with him. She was fun and silly and kind. And soon after, Claire even started spending time with Kyle Abbott, having her first romance, learning about dating and sex and how normal people live when they are not planning a mass poisoning with their great aunt. Claire moved deeper into the Newman family. She became close with Nikki. She became close with Victor. And she eventually changed her name from Claire Grace to Claire Newman. She went from Oregon House of Horrors to horseback riding at the ranch. From sticking Nikki with a syringe to having sweet family conversations in the Newman living room. She went from helping Jordan nearly wipe out the entire Newman family to becoming the primmest, properest, most wholesome Newman of all. Claire Newman is so sweet now. She practically has little animated birds helping her get dressed in the morning. But that is exactly why YNR fans will never let her forget that she is Claire Grace. Claire's transformation has honestly become part of the fun of the character, because every time Claire gets too sweet and too perfect, YNR fans remember the syringe. Every time she gives advice, we remember the poisoned water. Every time she says she just climbed onto a horse, somebody says, wait, wasn't she a villain just 5 minutes ago? And yes, she was. But the show's explanation is Claire Grace was the person that Jordan created. Claire Newman is the woman who Claire might have become if she had grown up with Victoria and Cole as her parents. And I can believe that Claire's sweetness is real, but YNR fans can't help but wonder, can a woman who spent years learning how to manipulate, lie, and patiently wait for revenge really leave every bit of that behind? Because Claire's transformation has been pretty extreme. She did not just change her mind about the Newmans. She became one of them. And maybe this really is Claire. Maybe the dangerous woman who we first met was all just an act. The role that Jordan had trained her to play. Or maybe Claire Newman is the act. Maybe she learned exactly what the Newmans wanted her to be and became it. So, now I want to hear from you, YNR fans. Is Claire Newman's transformation for real? Is she truly reformed? Or is Claire Grace still in there, waiting for the right moment to reemerge? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.